What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews, and today we're going to review The Batman. All right, let's jump into a quick intro. A sadistic serial killer called the Riddler begins murdering key political figures in Gotham City. Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption that spirals deeper than he could ever imagine. All right, let's jump right into the good.
The good.
Now, when it comes to acting, Robert Pattinson does a wonderful job as Batman. He captured Batman's strengths and vulnerabilities in his performance. I really appreciated how Pattinson didn't shy away from showing Bruce Wayne's trauma since his childhood. You'll see moments in the film where Pattinson reminds us of just how damaged Bruce Wayne really is. I actually really like the fact that he still has to learn how to struggle with his identity, especially when it comes to crime fighting and being Bruce Wayne. Now, there were some other solid performances from the supporting cast as well. Now, most of those performances were, I'd say, origin stories for Batman's rogue gallery. So there wasn't a lot of meat on the bones because I'd say a lot of this was set up for them if a potential spin-off or franchise were made. Zoë Kravitz had a commendable debut as Catwoman. I liked how she displayed her character's flaws, burdens, and capabilities in the limited amount of time that we got to see her. Now, Zoe's Catwoman stunt double made her look 10 times better, too. Paul Dano played an intriguing Riddler. He came off as a mixture of the killer from the Saw movies and Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Even though I felt like I've seen this incel type of character before, I appreciated how Dano was able to present a unique Riddler nevertheless. Probably the best acting in the Batman came from Colin Farrell as Penguin. He completely disappeared into the role, and I don't just mean because of the excellent makeup job. His mannerisms and his voice change up were unrecognizable, and you legitimately forget that Farrell is playing the character. Now, if we shift over to the setting of the film, I gotta say, Gotham City kind of felt like it had a life of its own. You can't help but feel like it's a real place with serious issues of corruption. The way the city is depicted, one could quickly understand why a guy running around in a bat suit could be believable. Speaking of which, I gotta say, it was really refreshing to see this version of Batman. And it is probably important to note that this is the second year of him being in the game. With that known, it was fascinating to see him experience with crime fighting, yet still rattled by all the new challenges. Pattinson's Batman really excelled at driving home the notion of using fear as a weapon. And I love the use of shadows, which were brilliantly utilized to echo that same fear from the criminals in Gotham. Now, I have to admit, one of the most entertaining aspects of Batman were his violent outbursts of straight up rage. I mean, he would beat folks up. I also really liked all the technology. Many of the gadgets are classics from the comics or even some of the animated series. The other thing to relish with this Batman is his complicated interactions with the police. His relationship with Jim Gordon was fun to see, but it was even more interesting to see Batman's dynamic with the rest of the Gotham PD. Now, there are some other technical elements that really work well in the Batman, and I have to say, one of them has to be the plot itself. The mystery is the primary driving force to keep you locked in. Director Matt Reeves laid out an intricate story that has plenty of twists and turns. I liked how the puzzles and riddles in the film weren't too easy to figure out. It really didn't make things all that predictable. Not only that, but it makes you connect with Batman a little bit more because you get to unravel the mystery at the same time he does. I also have to give Matt Reeves credit for nailing the themes in this movie. One of the predominant themes in this film is the theme of vengeance, and it was very clear to see how that theme was portrayed throughout the movie. It's far more layered than just being a catchy phrase for Batman to utter out whenever he's beating up a criminal. When you really think about it, it's a theme that perfectly tied almost all the characters together in some way. Lastly, I've got to talk about the cinematography in this movie. I'm telling you, I loved it, and it raised the bar for a lot of different scenes. The car chase scenes are one of the best that I've seen in a long time, and the cinematography was just stellar. Matt Reeves would often use a specific reverse over the shoulder kind of camera angle shot that would highlight one character and keep the action going in the background. All right, enough of that. Let's move on to the bad.
The bad.
I'll probably say that the relationship between Catwoman and Batman kind of felt a little bit rushed. I mean, it's understandable that they would have a fondness or attraction for one another, but it felt like their relationship didn't take the proper amount of time to develop. I don't think the sequence of events in the film gave enough support as to why they were drawn to one another. If I could put it a different way, I think that the two characters could have used a little bit more shared experiences in the film to really flesh out their connection just a tad bit more. Now, a minor issue with the Batman, I'd have to say it came with a questionable moment in the film. There's a scene where, let's just say, an iconic piece of Batman technology is introduced. The moment is perfectly set up with the right combination of music and sound effects to really elevate the tension in the room. Then, for whatever reason, it's ruined by an interruption. If I can give you an example, just picture Captain America lifting Thor's hammer, except he drops it and then picks it right back up again. All right, enough of that. Let's get on to the reason.
The reason.
The Batman is a thrilling, cerebral drama that gives us one of the most realistic portrayals of the Caped Crusader to date. Matt Reeves was successful in blending action, mystery, and the necessary character development to keep viewers engaged from beginning to end. This is the psychological drama along the lines of the movie Seven, except it just so happens to have Batman in it. It is 3 hours long, and you do feel it, but the pacing is handled well enough. As a frame of reference, if you like the graphic novels or animated films such as The Long Halloween Part 1 and 2 or The Killing Joke, then The Batman will be right up your alley. I have to say, this is not your Justice League version of Batman. This is not the Snyder Cut version. This isn't the animated series or whatever version that you've seen before. So if you go in with that expectation, you are going to be disappointed. This is a completely different take that we have not seen of Batman on screen before. If I could put it a different way, I'd say that the focus is on Batman and his character and not on the action and all the fantasy stuff that happens around him. Also, given the tone and the subject matter of this movie, this ain't for younger viewers. So, when it comes to the rating for the Batman, I've got to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Overall, I really like the Batman and I really like what it's setting up for the future. I think the best thing about this movie is the fact that it really resides in its own world. It's not trying to compete with the Nolan version or the Justice League version or anything. It really just wants to stand on its own two legs. And honestly, I think it accomplished that. So there really is no need to compare it with anything else. So I would definitely say if you have the opportunity to do so, go check out the Batman in theaters when it comes out. Anyway, do you plan on watching the Batman? If and when you do, come on back to this video and let me know what you think about it. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate it. If you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out the next time I drop a video. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.